A little bit like that.
Had you had much experience in the Whitsundays before this attempt?
I went out sailing a couple of times around the weekends and things like that. Still kind of young. I'm taking out, tourists, backpackers kind of thing. It's kind of fun for weekends, things like that. But I mean, nothing, for 7 days straight normally, unless you're cruising up the coast, which I've done before. But yeah, it was a challenge for me.
The 74 islands. Where did you get the official map? Because there's still a bit of conjecture, not so much in the northern part of the Whitsundays, but as to how far south they go and whether this thing's a rock or whether it's an island or, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I tried looking for the map and the official listing, but I could never find it. I researched before I went on this attempt, and really I actually found that 101 islands, but saying that you don't know whether you can visit them or not. So you kind of look to see whether you can anchor around it or even try to visit, or if it's too high or steep, and that indicates it's probably not going to be able to be landing, but it's kind of like a rocky cliff island,
Are there many of them out there?
Yeah, there's a fair few, maybe about 15 or something like that. Some islands are called rocks, but maybe some rocky islands that are rocks, you could probably even land on them, so it's very funny. What a rock is an island and an island's a rock. I just figured if I could land on it, it's an island to me. People might be able to land on other islands depending on if it's low tide, perhaps they can make a landing. As I went past, it didn't look like I could land. I didn't try landing on it. I figured if I got to 74, I'd done pretty well. I was running down to the bottom of the list when I got to the end. Went on Pigeon Island, so that's just off Cannonvale.
What's the reaction from World Records?
We had the response about a month and a half later, I think it was, or something like that, and basically they weren't going to recognise it. Their wording was the Whitsundays wasn't internationally significant. Their records for travel in quick time is relating to the English Channel, swimming it, and
really?
across the Atlantic. And maybe more people try it, so maybe in the future this could be a record. And the other reason they then provided later was that it could be it's not safe to other users of the waterways. I do think that because the Whitsundays are so large and you've got to have some nautical skill to be out on the boat anyway, it's not really a risk. There's nothing more out of the ordinary. Saying that some dinghy landings would have been tougher if the weather was stronger.
Yeah.
So perhaps they've got a right to say, but I mean, to have pulled it off, I thought it was quite. They still said, it's still a feat, it's an achievement, it's a record, but it's not an official one that we're going to recognise. But I still feel good to achieve it.
So the record doesn't go down officially, but as far as we're concerned, you hold the record.
Yeah, that's correct. No one else has come forward, so even an international sailing online magazine provider, they unpublished the Whitsunday Times article. And they said, "Has anyone out there beaten this?" And no one's responded back. So,
all right,
maybe I have the record for the moment. So.
Well, I reckon it's a great idea. People listening to this thinking, "Gee, I wouldn't mind a crack at doing that." Do you need to be quite skilled to have a go?
You want to be familiar with boats and sailing and things like that. And just, I guess every time you go out on a boat, you're taking a risk. So you got to be able to foresee the risk that might occur and know how to deal with it. If you don't know how to do that and have the plans in place or your knowledge of your equipment and what to do with it, well, then it's just kind of really, really risky. And then you need someone who has the ability with you, or maybe you have to. I guess no charter boat would ever go out doing this, but you got to have a good crew. You got to have knowledge yourself, and I guess you need a good boat.